So a disclaimer to start off this video, by no means am I a professional, a doctor, or anyone to give health advice or an health expert. But yeah, let's get into this video. So this video is really going to be about insulin. What insulin does, how it affects the body, what it looks like when your insulin is correct, when it's incorrect, and I'll touch up on some myths about insulin. Alright? So let's get into it. What is insulin? Insulin is a hormone created in the body's pancreas, and it plays a crucial role in regulating blood glucose levels, cell growth, metabolism, and just overall energy homeostasis. And what that last part just means is a healthy balance between energy expenditure from activities or bodily needs and energy intake from the foods that you eat. Okay? Insulin is essential for allowing the body to use glucose or sugar from food as energy. The release of insulin is triggered primarily, though, by just rising blood sugar levels after eating foods. But it can also be influenced by other factors like amino acids, fatty acids, and certain hormones. Without insulin, though, your body would not be able to transport glucose or energy to cells, leading to severe hypoglycemia or high blood sugar levels, which would cause a number of things like rapid weight loss and extreme dehydration, but we'll get into more of that kind of stuff later. And yes, blood sugar, like high blood sugar levels, are caused from when insulin is not being properly used in the body to move glucose or energy from the bloodstream to parts in the body where it's needed. So that's why you get that high blood sugar. So now that we know what insulin is, right? We know the baseline of what insulin does in the body. Let's get more into what it's doing in the body. So when you consume food, right? Let's say, for example, you ate a banana, right? Carbohydrates are broken down into glucose in the body, which enters the bloodstream, rising the blood sugar levels, and this signals the pancreas to release insulin. That way you can that glucose can be viable and be used in the body, right? Circulating insulin binds to specific insulin receptors in the body, such as those in the liver, the muscle, and fat. These say, hey, we need energy here via muscle, via organs, via brain, via fat, right? So your body's signaling to say, hey, we need to store energy, we need to use energy, or we need energy now, right? And once those insulin receptors are activated, they activate insulin transporters to move the glucose out of the bloodstream and into the cells that need it. The glucose is almost instantly used in a process called glycolysis, or it's just stored for later use. And how that storage process works is pretty much anywhere in the body, a process called glycogenesis, where glucose is converted into glycogen, or in the fat, a process called lipogenesis, where it's just stored and converted to fat, where things can start out lipolysis, which stops the breakdowns of fats to use glucose instead, right? And as the body gets lower and lower in blood glucose levels, the amount of insulin should get lower and lower. That way you can maintain a stable blood glucose level. In addition to all of those things too, insulin can help with supporting protein synthesis, process that is essential for building muscle. Um, it can also break down fats and proteins for energy when needed. And it also aids pretty well in the muscle building process after illness or injuries. Insulin can also make you, fatter. It could also help balance a micronutrient profile, such things during meals. And insulin works in the complete opposite of something that's also released in the pancreas called glucagon, which raises blood sugar levels by promoting glycogen breakdown in the body. And I think now we've gotten to a point where we understand what insulin is, what it's supposed to be doing in the body. So let's move on to what a healthy insulin individual or just a body looks like or feels like in general. Okay? So somebody who has good insulin sensitivity would be seen as someone who is on the positive side of insulin, right? Because you do not want too much resistance of insulin, which is that's what happens when you get way too much insulin being needed constantly all the time from what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat, right? So insulin resistance is what we don't want. Insulin sensitivity is what you do want. You want insulin to be able to do its job without all these other things being released to kind of halt it, stop it, or you need more insulin released to get the same thing done. Yeah, your body should respond to normal amounts of insulin. And what that kind of looks like in a day-to-day basis, right, is you should have stable, constant energy levels throughout the whole day. Like, no crashes, nothing after meals. You should feel alert all day long. After eating, you should not feel a certain way. You should feel normal. You should have appropriate appetite and hunger signals. Like, you shouldn't be able to eat food at random parts in the day. You should get hungry at a specific time every day. Your body's like, it's just in a rhythm. Yeah, and obviously nobody can be in that kind of situation where they can just eat the same time every day. I don't expect that whatsoever, but that definitely helps. But yeah, as someone with healthy and good levels, you should not feel hungry all the time, and you shouldn't feel intense cravings for carbs. You should have really good mental clarity and mood stability. You shouldn't have brain fog. You shouldn't be irritable when hungry. And you shouldn't have mood swings tied to blood sugar fluctuations. You should have good recovery and resilience. You should be able to bounce back from stuff. You should be able to bounce back well from stress or exercise, and you should be able to sleep well. And you should not feel excessively tired despite having no activity at all. I mean something like running miles or working out. I don't mean lifting boxes at work. That is not something that should make you tired. And you should just have an overall well sense of being. You should feel light and energized. And I know going through this list of things, even I find things, that I'm pretty fucked up on. So yeah, it's pretty hard to have the correct insulin today. It's very hard. But yes, those are the things you should be seeing within your own day-to-day basis if you have good and normal insulin levels. Okay. For the most part, right? There's other things too, but for the most part. So let's get on to the big thing, right? What does it look like when they're trash? Your insulin is horrible. Your insulin is... You have very high insulin resistance. Okay, let's check that out. See what that kind of looks and sounds like to a day-to-day basis. And let's see, you know, how many of those things happen to you, or how many of those things do you feel like you're struggling with, or how many of those things have you wondered if that's just how life is supposed to be, if that's just how normal day-to-day is supposed to be. And you're about to come to find out it's not. It's not, okay? So, what are the negatives? So obviously you could just be completely fucked, right? And just have type 1 diabetes. But more common, type 2 diabetes, which is just high insulin resistance. Blood sugar remains elevated, leading to hypoglycemia and potential complications like nerve damage, kidney issues, cardiovascular disease. And you might need things such as external insulin therapy, so shots, such as the things and medications, to mimic natural insulin function, because your body can't even do it on its own anymore. You fucked your body so hard, it can't even do the functions that it was made to do anymore. Yeah, so let's get into a few of those things that just, you know, tell you that you're not where you should be. So a persistent fatigue, or always feeling like you have low energy, even after a full night's sleep, right? You slept all night, you got 9 hours, but you wake up feeling tired as fuck still. It's probably your insulin's cooked. Could be other things, but, you know, let's go through the list. Energy crashes are common too, just right after eating food, or perhaps you feel like you have low energy all day until you eat food. Intense or frequent hunger and cravings. You just want carbs. You want sugar all day. If your body is thinking about it, just thinking about it makes you, get riled up, revs your engine. Your insulin is begging for help. Brain fog, poor focus, mood issues. If you are always getting irritable, if you're always having difficulty concentrating, you're forgetful, you're getting mood swings, you just feel cloudy, it is tied to your blood sugar. It is 100% tied to your blood sugar. Post-meal discomfort, you just feel sleepy, wiped out, like I was saying earlier. Yeah, that's a heavy blood sugar spike and then a crash following afterwards. If you're always thirsty, you always have to pee. You get headaches very easily, dizziness very easily. You have trouble losing weight. Which this can lead to something called a rundown, which makes you less resilient to those things, such as stress. And it can make it harder to get into exercising, to even change these things. So once your insulin gets bad, it kind of puts up this wall, right? It kind of stations base, it puts up a wall, and it says, now you got to get through this wall to fix the problem. So now it makes it harder to even start to do the things that help you, because it's already done the damage, right? We pretty much know how someone with bad insulin is going to look, but I won't get into the extreme things, because if you're fucking watching this video because you have your fucking skin is falling off because you're not getting enough carbs to a certain place. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? And yeah, that can happen. So yeah, so I think we got through the bad things. So let me get to some of the things that most people wouldn't know and the myths, right? Let's get to some of the myths. A big one, oh my gosh, a huge one, dude, that nobody knows is that just because food does not have calories, they think it will not spike insulin. This is completely false. If you are chewing certain sweeteners that are in your gum, then you could be spiking insulin. And whereas it might not do a lot, right? Certain sweeteners might not do a lot. Certain sweeteners might do more than others. But you having to drink a Diet Coke every day, every single day, because you just can't stand the taste of water, dude. You just have to have something that has taste. Your insulin is fucked, buddy. Your insulin's fucked. You are fucked. And that just makes it worse. Because those little things, constant, that's enough to add up to maybe another meal or of some sorts, right? And there's some people who don't really think about it, right? This is more just me talking about everything at the end of the video, right? Or like a summary or whatever you want to make it as. But people who offer snacks, or actually just snack, bro. Snacking is cooking your insulin as well. Depends on how you do it. But it's definitely cooking your insulin. Most of you guys are cooking your insulin by just snacking all day. Most people don't even eat. Most people eat one meal and then just snack the rest of the day. And that's cooking you. It's definitely cooking you. And also just eating food every time it's offered to you is cooking your insulin as well. Just taking a bite, you know. Someone's like, oh, try this out. And you're like, oh, I'm not really hungry. And they're like, come on. And you're like, yeah, okay, I guess. And you eat a slice of pizza or some shit. Slice of pizza, you try out this chocolate. Someone offers you a slice of cake. Boom, insulin. Boom, insulin. Boom, insulin, bro. And that's how a lot of these people are cooking their insulin. So, to get into a couple more myths or things people think they know about insulin. So, one that I have heard a lot out and about is that you need to get in some carbs or some energy right before you hit the gym, right? Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? You need to have a meal prior to going to the gym, like an hour before, right? So that way, the energy is stored in the muscles already. It is ready to be used. Everything is set up, right? This is like having a play, and as the play's going on, you're setting everything up as the play's going on. That's what you're doing when you get these, when you what is this, the Rice Krispies, the fucking scoop of honey or whatever right before the gym. Yeah. So, and why do I say that, right? Why do I say that? For one, blood will not be in the muscles to help you with the workout because it'll be in the stomach digesting something. Two, you're going to, whether or not you believe it, you are going to be less able to lift, especially heavier things, or maybe a higher endurance may help. because, you know, it'll be done halfway through the workout, right? You'll feel at your peak halfway through the workout. And that's because everything's already done digesting and everything. So then you are at, like I said, the play. You've done the play. You got everything set up. Now the other half of the play is playing out how it should have in the beginning if you just set it up perfectly, you know. Another thing I think people get mixed up is if you want to get lower insulin resistance, right? You would think, okay, I need to eat less meals throughout the day. You know, get less exposure to insulin. All in all, if you are eating bigger meals, let's say you eat 3 huge meals a day, right? Each one's like 1,500 calories because you're wanting to get big, you're at the gym, all that shit, right? That is cooking your insulin. Although it depends on body type and size. So I personally, when I am not as lean as I am right now, I usually walk around about 150. So someone who's about 150, 5'8", you would not want to eat that much, especially someone at this size. You are destroying your insulin. And that's something I did for years because I wanted to get big at the gym, you know what I mean? But at a certain point you get to where getting big at the gym and being healthy become 2 different things. And everyone will notice that at some point. That they either want to be healthy, they want to feel good, or they want to look good and lift big. So what should you do, right? For that insulin resistance. I think to get that insulin resistance lower, you need to lower your exposure to not need insulin so much because you're not carb loading like a fucking elephant. And you're not having these ginormous meals. And it really depends, right? Because you could technically get healthier insulin levels via eating more frequently throughout the day. You could eat, small amount, kind of like grazing. And that could be better than just eating 3 large meals in one day. But it also really depends on just how much you're eating in general, right? If I'm just eating 4,500 calories a day at my size, no matter how I do it, it's not going to work. More or less, right? Especially if I'm getting a fuck ton of carbs. So I have actually went from eating an average of 3,500 a day down to about somewhere between 2,200 and 2,700 a day. And that's greatly changed, you know, how I felt. But there is more to do still. And I think everyone should do their own little research and try to find out their own kind of things, right? The more insulin that gets involved, the more resistance that gets involved. That's all you need to know. You want energy to be properly getting used, right? And this could lead to huge other problems like oxidative stress, migraines even. But yeah, I think everyone should be just a little bit more conscious of you know, the spikes of insulin they're getting. I know I personally used to eat those meals and just be like pooped, bro. Like I just feel like nothing anymore. I just wanted to lay down and fucking play some games after I ate food because I just used to eat huge meals. But yes, you need to be more conscious of it. I think everyone does because I think a lot of people are suffering from these problems and they don't even know that they're not They don't even know that they're problems. They're just kind of thinking it's normal. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace.